What's going on, guys? It's Amy. I am a 5-month day trader and I am working on becoming consistently profitable. This is like the ultimate target, I think, when you start day trading is like, can I do this for the long haul and be consistently winning? So I have started this new series where I'm talking about mindset habits. And I did one for day one talking about basically setting a goal around trading. And today is day two, and we're talking about journaling. Now, what about mindset habits? Like, how is this supposed to be helpful? Basically, for me personally, for the last 11 years, I've been studying personal development. And I thought there was a bunch of concepts that I had learned. And years ago, like 5 years ago, almost to the day, I put all these 30 concepts together and realized, okay, these were the things that made the most impact in my business and in my life. And I thought, what if I applied it to trading? Basically use what's worked for me in the past, being an entrepreneur and a business owner, and now put that to the test with trading. And it's all about the journey. And this is something I'm realizing as I go along with trading, that you got to have fun in the process. You got to enjoy the process. It's not just about like, ooh, I'm winning the trade or I made money. It's like, are you actually enjoying the way to get there, right? Or is it a struggle? Is it a pain? Like, you causing yourself emotional stress and frustration and fear and annoyance and all that negative energy, right? So I'm kind of looking to use these mindset habits to kind of shift all of that stuff that's swimming around up here and basically make myself a better trader, make myself profitable. So in day two, talking about journaling, I'm actually referring to two journals in this video. Number one is going to be what you probably expect, which is my trading journal. And this is notebook number 3 as in my 5 months. I'm just basically documenting the ticker symbol, the price in, the price out, how many shares I'm buying, but also tracking like anything technical that I realize, maybe I missed after I got out of the trade. Is there something I could have done better? Wins, like what went well, trying to focus on just consistency of monitoring and tracking. And then I've gone back, over the past 5 months and used these journals to help me figure out, when was I profitable and when was I not? And just to kind of give you an overview, month 1 and 2, December and January, I was profitable. Month 3, I was not. Month 4, I was, which would have been March, and we're at the very end of April. And based on my stats, last I checked, it's going to be a negative month, but not by much. I'm going through like a growth period. I can feel it, where it's like some things are very challenging, but I'm also starting to look at the charts with a different eye and see things that I didn't see before. So it's like, I know just around the corner is the turning point, right? So the trading journal, highly recommend to do everything I just listed for your own trades, and to actually write it down with where's my pen? Okay, usually I have a blue pen here. Blue pen, white paper. There's something, I don't know, call it like magical about writing with blue ink. I feel like it's just better, okay? And my mentor taught me to use blue ink over black. So it has a different energy behind it, I guess. Anyways, encouraged to do that. You can also, of course, do it digitally. And I know a lot of people do that. And I myself am going back over my trades and inputting them into a Google Sheet so that it's a little bit easier to collect data. And then sometimes I'll import that data into ChatGPT and have it actually analyze things a little deeper for me. And it's a lot faster than, me trying to figure it all out. So that's another idea. I haven't used any online trading journals specifically, but Google has Google Docs, Google Sheets. Somebody told me about using, I forget what book I was reading. They said they used the Google Slides, which actually was a really good idea, because I'm thinking I wanted to start keeping track of screenshots of my trades so that maybe one day I would even print them in color and have like a book of trades, because I saw Sean Lee had that, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like, you have it in full color, you know, it might cost you a little bit ink-wise, but just being able to see what you're doing and have it in a printed version, I think is just really powerful. So that's just some ideas for expanding on the journaling part for specifically trading. Now let's go to the other journal. What do I mean by the other journal? I have just been buying notebooks up the wazoo on Amazon. I just buy like these simple spiral notebooks, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. But what I do is I will literally journal out the life I want to live. And it's been incredibly, I want to say like eerie sometimes, of how fast things come into my life just by doing this. Now, there's this like a specific way I highly recommend to do this. Number one, focusing on like an outcome that you are looking to achieve that is kind of like you could see it happening, and it's not like so far out, you know, you're not like a broke trader saying, I'm gonna be a millionaire trader tomorrow, right? Like not that far out, but maybe just journaling something related to what you want on a scale that you can believe in. So for example, personal development wise, I've written out, you know, certain traits that I wished I had, you know, like personality traits, certain environments I wanted to be a part of, like hanging around fun, happy, you know, successful people, being invited to things and having opportunities come, and just, you know, certain traits and qualities. And I've written that out and seen it happen. Yeah, and you write it out in present tense. Like, don't ever put, I want to be X or I want to have X, because that's telling your brain that you don't have it, and you're reinforcing it. You're reinforcing the what is and telling yourself you don't have it over and over by saying, I want something. What you're actually saying is you're lacking something and you want X, right? So the way I've done it, and I feel like, you know, it's weird. Sometimes it's really effective for me to write a simple couple of sentences, like a quick paragraph of some specific situation and how I want it to work out. It's almost like describing like a scene in a movie. And I'll just put a little bit of like, I was feeling this, you know, or I am feeling blah, 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 and I have blah, blah, blah. I am doing blah, blah, blah. You know, those kinds of present tense action verbs or nouns or whatever, you know, you're talking about. Also, this was kind of a revelation that came to me in the past couple years, that if I actually wrote something down as if it was in the past, that it was even more powerful for my brain. Like, it's one thing to say like, yeah, I am a profitable trader. It's another thing to say, I've been profitable for the last year or something. You know, it's like, you know, you're telling yourself that not only is it the reality, but that you've already been doing it. And I know it sounds like you're lying, you're tricking your brain, you're telling yourself whatever that's not true. But think of all the deprecating things you tell yourself anyway that aren't true. Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, idiot. Why did I get in this trade? You know, you're not stupid. You're not an idiot. You're just learning. You know, you have to give yourself some grace sometimes. And I'm talking to myself too. Like, just because you made a trading error doesn't mean you are a failure in life, okay? Even if you've made that error for like a year straight, okay? You're not a failure in life, right? So when I journal out certain things, you know, that I want to come in, it's really, really powerful to just be like, it's kind of like telling a friend a story about something that already happened in your life. You're speaking in the past tense, right? You're like, hey, Mary, you know, how was your vacation to Europe? Oh, it was amazing. You know, like writing this out. my Europe trip was amazing. I got to go to Barcelona, I got to go to Venice, I got to take a cruise, I, went to all these different places, I visited, blah, blah. You're telling it like it's in the past. And that's actually telling your brain that you already did it. So what's crazy is that's how it can come to pass easier, because your brain is letting go of any resistance to the idea. If you said, hey, you're writing it down and you're like, I'm going to go to Barcelona, I'm going to go to Venice, blah, 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 then your brain is just perpetually telling itself over and over, going to, right? Future tense, hasn't done it. And every time you say it or write it, you're just telling yourself that you haven't done it, right? But if you're saying it like it's in the past tense or in the present tense, it's more active, and it basically brings down the barrier of resistance that's in your head that you'll often find saying, that's not true, you're wrong, right? Like if you try to say, I'm a millionaire day trader, your brain's gonna be like, you idiot, you can't even make $1 in your trades. What are you talking about? There's this voice that's going to counteract everything you say and contradict it and negate it, right? And because it's too far outside your belief zone. But if the brain thinks that what you said, because you're just saying it like, yeah, of course I did it, it's done, right? It's already happened. The resistance around that statement is much less. Like saying, let's just bring it down a notch. Let's ixnay on the millionaire part. Let's just say, your goal was to make $100 a day, trading. You could say, I have been making $100 a day profit for the last 3 months, whatever. And that's a little bit more accepting to your brain's belief system than saying, I'm making $100 a day profit. Even though that's present tense, if you haven't been even close to that in your trading, it probably is going to put up some resistance. But if you are telling your brain, like, I already am doing this has actually happened, your mind actually doesn't know the difference, and you're imagining it too. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what's actually happened and imagination. Like there's actual scientific studies around this where people will visualize having achieved something, and when they hook them up to machines, the brain is actually firing off neurons that are exactly the same as when they're doing the thing that they're imagining, which is crazy. Like there was a study about these basketball players, they had, I don't know, it was like 30 of them that actually went and practiced, shooting free throws and whatnot. And they had 30 of them just visualizing in their head. And ironically, the ones that visualized only and didn't actually shoot the ball, they actually had, when they went to actually play, they actually had a better success rate of getting the ball in the hoop, because they had programmed their minds so much for winning, because in their mind, they're always winning, right? Every shot going in, that it overrode like any issues of skill. So I find this stuff fascinating. And that's my recommendations for the 2 journals. I'm personally using both every single day. Trading journal, to document and take note of the trades, all of the specifics around my trading, and then to kind of assess, like mentally where I'm at sometimes, emotionally, did I come down, sit at the charts and I was like in a mental state of like something else going on or frustrated or whatever. Try to keep track of that stuff, because you'll find that your memory will fail you if you don't write that stuff down like that day or even just after you finish the trades. I find it very beneficial. As soon as I'm closing the charts and stuff, that's what I'm writing. Even if I want to get up and I want to just leave, I'm like, no, I got to document this. How am I feeling? What am I thinking? How did this go? How could it have gone better? Kind of stuff. And then, like I said, having a separate journal for writing your life how you want it. Like I cannot even count how many things I've written that came to pass. And it almost seemed like this is too easy, where you could overlook it and just be like, oh, that's not why it worked. Not just because I wrote it down, like then it happened. I'm telling you, the stuff I've written down sometimes has been so detailed and has happened according to those very, very specific details that it literally convinced me for life that it works. And you can call it foo-foo, you know, look at the law of attraction people, they're nuts, whatever. I don't care what you call it. I call it, it works. And I'm doing it and I'm seeing the results. And, you know, I can even just say the power of the imagination is incredible. So use that when you're journaling, you know, your life. Think about it in pictures, and even more powerful is to think about it like a mini movie. And sometimes I'll sort of close my eyes, think about, you know, what's the scene look like, and then I'll write it. And I think those two things together, the imagination aspect plus the writing down, the actual, like, I'm going to take pen to paper, I'm going to fire off neurons in my brain, which is really what's happening. I'm going to, like, you know, put it down, I'm moving my arm, I'm thinking, I'm writing it, and it just makes it so much more tangible and real. And it overrides, like, the subconscious beliefs that are causing the issues, right? Like, especially around trading, all the issues that come up. And one of the things I remember learning years ago, business-wise, was, you know, like, say you're just getting started like me, and you're like, oh gosh, you know, I got years ahead of me to learn this stuff. I got to figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going to try all these things, and I don't know, you know, what I got to learn, or who I got to learn from, or what technique, what strategy, what setups I need to use. The how is not so important right now. The outcome that you're shooting for and bringing that into your mind as reality is really what I'd say the tangible goal here. So for example, instead of me worrying about all those things I just listed, when I think of myself as a day trader, I think of myself as a profitable, in fact, highly profitable day trader. It's one of the things I write a lot. And I try to expand on that, get more specific. Sometimes it works better for me to be a little bit general, because I want to be open and not too, like, rigid about what trading could bring in. But I think it's important to just kind of convince yourself you're already there. And then you'll actually be taking different actions when you go to trade, because you're thinking in the back of your mind, I'm a profitable day trader, profitable day trader. And so you will act like a profitable day trader versus some newbie making beginner mistakes, right? Not to say you won't along the journey, but I think it gets you there faster. It really do. Just based on my own experience being an entrepreneur for, this is my 10th year, and you overcome a lot of mental, psychological issues just to, number one, get to that point, quit your job, and number two, stay, you know, away from having to go to a job. So anyways, guys, that's day 2. I'm going to keep doing my journaling. I'm getting more specific too about, like, what my trading lifestyle looks like as a highly profitable day trader and to keep adding to that every single day. That's another thing too, is you can rewrite this every single day. It's not like you write it once and you're like, oh, I kind of want to change something. No, you can change it at any time. You can rewrite it the next morning. I kind of fall into every few days or every few weeks that I might just completely rewrite the whole thing. And that kind of helps clear the slate, because sometimes things will happen in that time period and you'll be like, oh, I thought I wanted that, but actually I want this. And that's totally fine to change your mind. In fact, it's probably going to happen as you do the second journal. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out my day trading resources down below if you want to know who I've learned from, you know, people I recommend on YouTube, books I've read, Tom Hugard's book here, Best Loser Wins, one of the books on there, as well as Market Wizards, there, behind me. Yeah, keep subscribing, liking, commenting. Y'all are awesome, and I appreciate it. Much love. Take care.